It has a little something for everyone.
I dissolved into frustration as I got killed from behind for the umpteenth time, even as I was crouched motion.
The region is still imbalanced type-wise, heavily favoring water Pokemon. It's especially noticeable in Alpha Sapphire since the villainous Team Aqua uses a lot of water types. It just feels like there are water Pokemon in nearly every battle.
At launch, Ghost ranks among the upper echelon of Call of Duty games.
Advanced Warfare is granted a weight and importance that changes how
B, because it resembles the 1993 game of the same name. But with all due respect, those are desperately low expectations.
Baldurs Gate 3 is taking the internet by storm. The gaming community has sung its praises, and it's incredibly refreshing to play a feature-complete game. But AAA game developers want you to know that this is rockstar level nonsense. But that tweet blew up in the development sphere, and frankly, the pushback is just raise industry and genre standards regardless, and obviously try and make an improvement. Because telling me how hard it is when you're breaking profit and revenue records isn't a super compelling argument from the customer's perspective. Is Baldurs Gate 3 an outlier? Yes.
You're not going to believe me when I tell you this. In fact, I myself am still struggling to come to terms with the words that are about to leave my mouth. They're basically blasphemous. IGN just had a great take. Yeah, let it sink in. Give yourself a moment to process it.
Yeah, the profound universal truth. IGN bad. All they do is hand out bad review numbers to every other game. Except for now, because they made a pretty decent video applying to fucking tweets.
It's been like a decade since the last time I watched or read something from IGN that wasn't just baffling drivel. IGN having a good take is more rare than a total solar eclipse.
I don't know, all the recent stuff seems pretty crowd-pleasing, especially on the indie side of the spectrum. But yeah, let's let all of that slide, because everybody loves dunking on IGN.
IGN's calling out and pushing back against this trend a lot of AAA game devs have, where they have this weird coping mechanism where when a game is successful that's not theirs, they start saying why it's ridiculous to expect every game to be as good as that one. You can't expect us to deliver quality like that. You guys are entitled gamers and don't understand how difficult game dev is.
You know, maybe there were more words in the tweet you're referring to. Maybe there are different sides to the stories relating to the subject. Can we talk about the statements made by other devs that were really well received? Maybe the flashy statement isn't the whole truth. Can we go through the meat and potatoes of the subject? But, you know, that's not good for optics, I suppose.
But AAA game developers want you to know that this is rockstar level nonsense for scope, that it's foolhardy to set expectations higher, and Baldurs Gate 3 should not be used as a raised standard to RPGs going forward.
IGN really dives into the absolutely deplorable state of modern gaming right now, and really focuses in on the response to Baldurs Gate 3 from some developers, where they're saying, like, that game is really good, and you shouldn't expect games to be that good going forward.
Honestly, the tweets do showcase some jealousy and mild resentment towards others in the industry, but they're also fucking tweets, man. That in and on itself dilutes their own values. But this sudden panic has to do with a lot more than what's on the surface, and I think a lot of people can actually guess all of that. Anyways, I'll talk about it in a bit. Let's get back to critical.
And the natural question is, why the fuck shouldn't we? Why? Why are we okay with games being so stagnant? Baldurs Gate 3 is going fucking hog wild. We should have higher expectations. You, as a developer, should have higher expectations too. Why would you be so complacent just coasting by on the same shit different day?
It's pretty shitty to go out on the internet and screech about, like, this game doesn't set new standards, or you shouldn't expect quality like this one from every other game that's gonna come after this. But you gotta realize, most of the devs here don't have full control over the projects that they're working on, especially the ones working under greedy-ass publishers. Almost felt like they just wanted to vent out their frustration on the internet. And what is the best platform to go out and cry out your feelings? But will Moist Critical choose to have these thoughts on any of these issues?
And a lot of the focus, as mentioned in the IGN video as well, has been put on nickel and diming consumers just squeezing everyone for their lunch money as much as possible, like they're trying to get all the fucking water out of a towel. but the water in this case is your money, your hard-earned schmeckles.
Nah, let's just complain about the usual predatory practices that greedy-ass zombie money-making publishers churn out, cause I don't know, keep spreading the word about popular record-breaking revenues all the times, I suppose.
Everybody knows game development is not easy. I know developers like to think that everyone that plays their game is just some lobotomite troglodyte that has no fucking clue how the world works, but everyone understands that it's not easy to make a video game.
No goddamn way. How can he say that when the entire subject of this video is based on text put up on a website called Twitter.com? The platform really proves that a lot of people out there have absolutely no brain under their skulls. Do we need to talk about the times when developers were getting death threats for just delaying game releases so their game is more polished? You really think the entire Steam charts numbers for Baldurs Gate 3 represents just grown people that have really good grasp of how game development works? I mean, even Critical doesn't have any nuance take throughout the entire video. We got people out here on Twitter.com, we got multiple fucking PhDs who go on to write multiple page theses on why this not sexy looking lady is bad for the entire gaming industry, or rotten brain troglodytes going on to attack and dox people who don't even have full control on the creation process. Doesn't even matter if everyone knows how hard game development is or not. All your favorite YouTubers, game journalists are all gonna react and have the same modern game is trash attitude, and that's gonna fuel more traction and bring more eyes to the tweet, which should make the bedridden internet fucks on Twitter retweet and quote tweets and do all that shit so that they can get any sort of attention from this. If this really were a perfect planet that we're living in, then people would have really understood each other's frustrations and hardships, and the tweets wouldn't have even been made in the first place, and thousands of creators wouldn't have jumped in on the opportunity to mock these devs in the first place either.
Baldur's Gate 3 is too good, you're going to expect more of us, which we're gonna fail on, and you're gonna get mad at us. I don't know why the immediate response has recently started to be, this is dumb. It's unrealistic to think that we should be anything like Baldur's Gate 3 or any other very successful game like Tears of the Kingdom. We can't do it and we won't do it. Game dev is hard, damn it. What don't you understand? We're not doing it.
You know, I feel like some devs tried to come up with some carefully worded statements along the lines of, you know, game dev really isn't that easy, and you simply just can't look at the numbers and assume reality, you know? Because processions in life and higher-ups in companies, they don't really let you soar out with your wings, man. That's not how reality works. But whatever they were trying to say, yep, people are gonna mock them on the internet anyways.
Just keep blindly consuming our products that we put no effort into for annual releases with constant updates to the microtransactions that we're able to hose you down with, okay? Is that so difficult? Huh? Can you just keep buying our lazy shit, please?
I really don't recall Call of Duty or Madden devs joining the fray and having their hot takes. Those guys probably already knew their asses are gonna get handed to them if they said anything.
Because we're not even gonna try, damn it. In fact, it's making me mad even thinking about putting that kind of effort into a game.
Yeah, man, because you can fully render Forbidden West's map in less than half a day. Code all of SpiderMan's new gadgets in less than 3 hours, I suppose. Yeah, it really sounds like he just loves to run along with the most exaggerated gaming complaints. He sounds like an actual Twitter user compared to a lot of the tweets on the thread. The hell, man?
It's so fucking sad that the modern video gaming landscape is kind of boiled down into, all right, we're going to release a game we know is subpar and well below anyone's expectations of our product, but we want the money and we want it now.
Yeah, man, the modern gaming landscape. Fuck all the indie devs that put any ounce of free time and money that they've got into any of their projects. Yeah, screw all of them, I suppose. Continuously shitting on modern greedy devs is the most entertaining thing out there now, huh? I mean, even I've got to agree to that, man.
And then we'll just go ahead and drop a Twitter apology text. We'll just go ahead and use the boilerplate ChatGPT generated Twitter apology statement and wash our hands with it and be done with it. Like, think of how many times we've seen Twitter apology statements from game devs this year. It's like 9 times already. It doesn't stop.
Maybe because it runs along with the place. Or most probably they just don't want to break NDAs, blame the producers, risk losing their jobs, and go broke for the foreseeable future.
The nonstop flood of just release garbage and then just apologize for it and then do nothing to fix it. Just take the money and move on. It's fucking, it's gross. It's gross.
Once again, doesn't apply for every dev that tweeted.
Now, this isn't just to shit on everyone in the thread or any of the discussion around it or the people that were talking about it.
That's what you've done for almost half your video.
I feel like gaming is the only industry where you'll look at a game in your genre that absolutely pops off with disdain. Like, in pretty much everything else, people will look at an achievement in their industry as something to strive for. And take, for example, Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh boy, here we go. The sole reason I even dragged my 9-to-5 lazy ass around to make this video in the first place.
Into the Spider-Verse legitimately fucking changed animation. Like, it really did. Like, you can see it immediately with something like Puss in Boots 2. They looked at Into the Spider-Verse and said, that's incredible. It's also extremely successful. Let's start trying to be more like that and learn from that.
Yes, true. Spider-Verse's style has been really refreshing to the industry, and most of the other big studios that followed suit, all two of them, were really successful with their endeavors. But you know, I could just end your entire argument with one word. Animation industry has always suffered from internal struggles throughout their existence. Massive amounts of overwork and lower pay grade that animators working under your beloved media usually suffer from. MAPPA and Ufotable are both considered sweatshops at this point, with the amount of poor souls working there that gotta go out of their way to deliver and meet the insane expectations that people expect out of any of their projects. And they're not even innovating anything new like Spider-Verse or Arcane are doing. They're just doing the usual anime stuff with a lot more forced labor. With a lot more passion, effort, and creativity. Yay. Even a lot of Across the Spider-Verse animators came out and complained about the same fucking issues after the movie was released, or after their NDAs expired, probably. Can we talk about that now, Charlie? And Into the Spider-Verse didn't go out there and change the entire industry or something. Most big studios will still choose to work to the best of their strengths. Are the anime studios gonna look at Ufotable and say, you know, let's do that, but better, and choose to put so much sakuga into their first episode and overwork their employees and run out of money faster? Are anime directors gonna look at MAPPA and say, you know what, maybe we should use lots of CG in our anime to cut on budget so that, you know, the key sequences look so good, and struggle to come out with anything decent within the production time that they got? No, none of them want a Berserk 2016 disaster at their hands. I'm not saying anime studios are not competing against each other to deliver the best quality. Funding, corporate workflows, and time constraints are always gonna be hindrances on any industry to pull down a person from spreading their wings and soaring out and exert their full creativity and do whatever they want. No, really doesn't happen all the time. And the Spider-Verse analogy is really terrible. That's all I gotta say.
Imagine if the animation studios were more like game developers in the AAA space where they're fucking pouting and stomping their feet. Well, Into the Spider-Verse is too good, and you guys shouldn't expect that from us because we're not going to try to be anything like Into the Spider-Verse.
Why should they? This has nothing to do with the tweets or the games, but seriously, why should you try to replicate something just because it's successful? Like, would Studio Trigger immediately find success if they made their projects look like Into the Spider-Verse or something? Success is neither guaranteed with trying to replicate something that's actually really successful, nor with producing something that is totally out of the box and totally new. You could go wrong either way, or insanely right either way too. Not throwing Larian under the rock or anything, they've been working their asses off for entire decades trying to build their engine and perfect it. The recent game really popped off for them. They didn't reinvent or truly innovate anything new. They've been working to the best of their strengths with maximum effort and honest ethics and morals, let's not forget that, and that has paid off for them in a really big way.
I think that's just such a bad mentality. I think that's just awful, to be honest. Like, there's no reason why you should be upset.
I do completely agree with this. But I wonder how would people react to the story if Elden Ring or the Breath of the Wild developers came out and went into all honesty mode and admitted that there's actually a lot more to the story and not just what people would love to take from the surface. How would the reaction be?
There's nothing wrong with consumers expecting games to be more like Baldurs Gate 3.
Yeah, he's not wrong about this. Consumers can and will always expect the best out of the product that they're buying. Would be better if they didn't decide to hop on Twitter and send death threats to people that aren't completely the ones responsible for their half-assed products. Mostly by crying on Twitter. Maybe that's why a lot of these devs feel like they should, man up and push against these things by also crying on Twitter. although it's really just gonna be counterintuitive. But I think it's good that a lot of people can see the predatory practices for what they are and decide to not give into it. I mean, the devs just make it really that much easy for people to recognize these patterns, but hey.
That you can make some really incredible stuff if you have actual passion for the craft. And I guess that's maybe what's more frightening. Now the secret's out that you really can make great things if you try. Whoa, the secret formula has been revealed, I guess.
Okay, effort and passion. I don't want to sound like beating a dead horse, but there's just a lot more that goes into developing a video game on that scale, on a corporate work cycle, than just effort and passion. But once again, I just want to reiterate this. Predatory practices are always decisions made by the higher-ups / the CEOs / the production managers, whose visions don't really align with the passion and effort put on by the actual developers at the lower levels, who probably mostly do all the hard work and heavy lifting and the intense labors. And I'm pretty sure a lot of them would have just come out and said that their hands are fully tied, and you cannot blame them for the stupid battle passes and microtransactions and content lock that you guys are experiencing. But choose not to, because their livelihoods are all probably at risk.
They don't even have like microtransactions in the game in a big way at all, at least not to my understanding.
What do you mean by they don't even have microtransactions? I get that it's being abused by the major money makers of the industry, but Larian has always proved to never take shitty routes like that. But he makes it sound as the usual norm for all the AAA studios out there. Most of Sony's first-party games hardly have any micros. Nintendo's games mostly don't either, one of which he praised a while ago.
I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 personally yet.
I'm sorry, what?
I haven't
played Baldur's Gate 3 personally yet.
I don't know what the difference is between a movie like Friday the 13th and a realistic looking video game. You're not controlling the movie, is the difference. I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 personally yet, but I've actually watched a lot of it because it's a really interesting game just to watch. It's fucking impressive what Baldur's Gate 3 brings to the table.
How would he know that? I don't want to be a dick pointing out the obvious discrepancies here. He's a daily creator / streamer. You gotta run with the hot news and immediate opinions to keep staying relevant, I suppose. But buddy, that game goes on for over 100 hours and you still wouldn't have covered 50% of it, apparently. I mean, I can't tell, I haven't actually played it.
I haven't
played Baldur's Gate 3
But he could just dish out some popular takes and call it quits while he's not even played the game? I mean, I'm no different in that regard, but hey.
It's just so weird to see a game like Baldur's Gate 3 go crazy, and then you, as a developer in the industry, be like, don't worry guys, we'll never make anything like that, so don't expect it from us.
I mean, isn't that kind of the point a lot of them are trying to make? They never can or would be able to for a good amount of their foreseeable future. Because if you choose to work as a developer for a AAA studio, you're probably stuck there for at least one of their games' completion cycle. And AAA games now average around 3 years of development time minimum, so yeah.
It's like in the game developer space in the AAA scene, it's like a competition to see who can be laziest. Like, the more work you do, the more you get spit on by other developers in the space, I guess. I don't get it.
No, I don't recall any dev joining the Twitter fray vehemently thrashed BG3 and cried about not wanting to put even half the effort that Larian did into their own games. None of them were clear with what they had to say, but you can tell half of these devs showed this level of resentment because this kind of success is really impossible to achieve in the current AAA landscape of gaming, especially when investors and decision makers have so much power. Okay, I just want to end with my honest opinions here. I don't even have a powerful PC to run half of the modern AAA games since 2016. I only get small chunks of time here and there to maybe script a video like this or play some linear single player game, mostly from the indie side of the spectrum, on my pretty decent but bad laptop. That's just how my sad life goes. And I hope my takes gave you some nuance to the situation and actually mirrored the opinions of Critical here, because I really don't wish that all my points felt like I was just attacking him. Oh, you think you're so much better than him, huh? Wait, where do you come from? Like, what? You think your take is so unique? You think you're clever and better than the product of the mass of society out there or something? But you're just a sheep, hopping on a trend making a quick video on a hot topic. Sorry, was hot like a week ago. And what's this tilted angle you're coming from? Just because you work on some motion graphics and some keyframing animation on a corporate industry, you can now go out there and defend screeching idiots on Twitter? Wow. What are you talking about? I really had good nuanced takes on the issue and added to both sides of the story. You're right, nuance. Other than your statements on the animation analogy, your entire video is subpar, buddy. You could have done this off with one of your shorts and not waste my time. Yeah, like shorts aren't the only thing that's there on your channel since I drew you this avatar. It's all thanks to you, you miserable pile of flesh. My products are getting left in the dark thanks to your stupid sidetracking. Jesus Christ, man. How many times have you switched lanes and started new shit and finished none of them, man? Like all the dead corpses laying around. And please don't even mention the stupid avatar. It's so bad I'm gonna commission someone online for a new one. I simply don't have that much time on my hands these days. And my mind is getting constantly fucked thanks to your thinking process. I can't even be contemplating between playing a video game or working on my other skills, which are also getting screwed up thanks to your AGS. Don't go blame me for your procrastination. I'm this close to finishing my first video while you're just throwing scraps at me as cheap amounts of time. The one with the edgy After Effects video and the self-incriminating lyrics? The one you've been working on for over 2 years now? Jeez. Might I remind you of the symphonic metal fusion track that you're working on for over eons at this point? Whatever the fuck happened to that? I don't know, man. Life hasn't been that easy on me, you know? The constant need for them papers to just get by and the chase to get it ruins almost everything else that you would wanna rather show off to the world. I just felt like getting this done no matter what and putting it out, even if it ends up with 1 view and 80 dislikes. Cause I just feel like this needs to be said, even though it's looking like I'm attacking the good guy. Everyone knows screaming about this topic. It's just... My initial thoughts were, like, why would they go out and do this publicly on Twitter? Because, like, everyone knows it's terrible for PR. Not just the... I mean, yeah, the greedy guys want to do it because, you know, probably something that their investors would want. But why also the other AAA devs? That got me thinking. But yeah, it's Twitter alright. It goes with the territory. People love overreacting, sounding scrawny as fuck, sometimes take it a bit too far and attack the devs themselves. It's mostly just nonsense, but I felt like there's some actual nuance there, and that's something that I wanted to focus on. Like I'll admit, I'll always choose to play a simple game like Marvel's SpiderMan over Baldurs Gate 3 for the little time that I get. I just want to soak in some high quality visuals, a good linear story, some neat looking and well written characters, good gameplay loop. I haven't even completed that one yet, but yeah, that's somewhere I stand. Wait, so you're just a fanboy? What? No. So PS4 SpiderMan's developer supported the Twitter thread, and that's what prompted you to make an entire video on this subject? You gotta be kidding me. Not even close. I can admit that a content-filled game like BG3 is probably objectively better of the quality to quantity ratio compared to something like Spider-Man, and probably will give me a lot of good time if I started playing it too. And I don't even get to play Spider-Man if I wasn't at my office during free times, because my laptop won't run that even at 480p. But I suppose attacking someone like Charlie, which roughly translates to having a different opinion, while not having the most clear-cut vision on the subject matter, is probably a cardinal sin. So yeah, feel free to shit on the entirety of my channel's comment sections if you felt like it. I'm super drained for the rest of my month. I'm just gonna go sleep. I'm done arguing. Lampshade it all, thinking that's gonna make you look like a good guy at the end, huh? You know, the only ones that probably watched till the end had something against Critical, or just fanboys of him. Which only makes my testimony 10 times more honest, because I walked back on almost everything I said. Well, not exactly, but what does that make me? I don't know, someone with no reformed opinions that makes a video hopping on trends, you know, something like a sheep, I guess. I mean, if you want to put it that way, guess I am one. Hope that goes right for your sake, man.